You're watching Leafs Morning Take with host Nick Alberga and former NHLer Jay Rosehill. The show starts now.
All right, let's do it. It's time for the Tuesday edition of Leafs Morning Take. Nick Alberga, Jay Rosehill, presented by Bet365. You talk about a pound of flesh, Rosie. Montreal got its pound of flesh on me. I am not feeling the best right now. Something you were dealing with, what, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, mine came and went pretty quickly, but my kids' hockey team is decimated by illness. I don't know if it's self-inflicted like yours might be. Did you go out?
It's possible, yeah. Some late nights, tons of drinks. But in that scenario, you just calling kids up from like another team? How does that work?
We've got affiliates and stuff like that, but it's so far they've been pretty good. We're down a goalie, so our one goalie played back to back, and just mainly practice. It's turned into a country club. The one team won a tournament, the other team had a good weekend. Just country club week. We're not gonna be there for practice. They're like the Maple Leafs. These kids, it's rubbing off on them. Woo!
You don't say. I mean, is there urgency with this team? Are they looking to improve and get better and stronger and find a groove? Do they have an identity?
They're getting there. They're taking strides. They're getting better as the season goes by, and you kind of know what to expect night to night on the positive. So different mentality than the Maple Leafs this year altogether.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Our Super Chat charity partner is Sick Kids. Want to make sure your question or comment gets on the show. Hit us up with a Super Chat. Proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, ranked the #1 research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and 3rd in the world. It's still pretty amazing to me. It's November 25th. We're 2 days away from American Thanksgiving, and we're talking about tanking. We're talking about top draft picks. We have Keaton Verhoeff. We interviewed him yesterday. He was outstanding, about 20 minutes. That's coming up in about 25 minutes or so. But these are grim times in Leafs Nation, and I'll be the first to admit I could have never forecasted this. Like, I thought they were on the right track. I really like the offseason additions, but this is coming off the rails very, very quickly, Rosie.
Oh, yes, she is. I go through like the motion or the different phases of grief, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't know what those are, but started off like just sad and kind of worried and keep yourself optimistic. Now I'm just pissed off. The effort level and the responses that they've had are just like you never call out your team for effort, right? It's the last thing that a guys do. And they've been called out publicly multiple times by their coach for their effort. And I would say there is many times you could have done it on other nights as well. And it's starting to piss me off. No doubt. Like it's, and what adds to the layers of that is the people who are like, see, I told you. Like everyone knew that like we wanted to be built more like the Panthers so that you get more in that, like more of a playoff team, more gritty, more desire, more character, and like they went the opposite direction. And we talked about Dakota Joshua yesterday, Michelli, Nick, these injuries. Has there been one time where the injury is not considerably longer than anyone thought? Like, is anyone battling to get back in there? Is anyone saying, hey, I'm not 100%, but I'll say all the right things to the trainers to get me out there because the team needs me right now? There seems to be zero of that going on. Like, I'm just sickened by the heart in this team. What an opportunity playing in that market with, the players that they do have. They should be so much better than they are. And the teams... doesn't matter what your team is on paper. If you don't bring it and you don't have the desire and the will, you're not going anywhere. And this team has gone nowhere so far.
Yeah, it's struggle street. And all I could think about, too, with your assessment of them trying to be the Florida Panthers, I just wonder if they're guilty of that, trying to catch a moving train, if that makes sense, where all the focus is on how do we beat Florida, and they didn't adapt and evolve with the rest of the NHL, because we've seen that so many times where it's the big shiny toy and it's like, shit, they're good and I want to play just like them. And then by the time you catch up, you play their style, it's on to the next one. It's on to a next, type of team that's going to win and be successful in this league. And I start to wonder if the Leafs got too preoccupied with trying to be the Florida Panthers. Do you get that feel at all?
No, I don't, because before the Panthers were even good, the one sentiment about this team is, God, we're kind of just full of a bunch of super talented, but fancy, not gritty stars that win and get their points a certain way. And you watched playoff loss after playoff loss before the Panthers were even a thing. And there was definitely a sentiment of, this team's not really gritty enough. They're not really built for the playoffs. Like, yeah, they just won 7-6, but is that going to be applicable in the playoffs? And the answer is always no. And the first time, I mean, you got to sign Austin Matthews. You got to sign Willie Nylander. You got to sign these guys, and they did. And then one year, there was an opportunity, and yes, it happened to be during the heyday of the Florida Panthers, that we can move on from one of these huge contracts and open up space to try to plug the holes that we have in the playoffs. And that's just what happened this summer. And not like the NHL changed overnight and now it's back to speedy, skilled stuff that's going to win the cup. It's always been, you have to have that grit. You have to get through those tough series. You have to have the stamina, the determination to get through a game 5 and a 6 and a 7. You got to play heavy hockey. You got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to play hurt. You got to be willing to do things that the guys on the other side are not. And then you'll get through and you get to play another round and you get to play in the final and you get to win the cup. And nothing has changed in the NHL as far as I'm concerned about that. And the changes that they made, and everyone's on tree living because they have these hindsight in their favor. The guys they brought in haven't done shit. Like the opposite of it. They've been like what is Dakota Joshua worth? Like 0 to me. He shouldn't be in the lineup, but he is because he's their shiny toy that they just signed. My God. And it just, again, like yesterday I said, the cherry on top was just the disgustingness at the end of the embarrassment at the end of the game in Montreal, where you're like, what are you doing? And it's the opposite of everything they need. And it is why they're in the place that they're in right now, if you ask me. To a man, but I mean, Nick Waugh might be able to provide something, but he's been injured. Yeah. And the only solace is they're so injured that it's like they're decimated, and everyone says everyone's injured. I can't think of anyone that's as injured as key players that need to help them get to where they're going than the Florida Panthers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, from the goaltending to the defense to the bottom 6 to the top 6, just decimated. And that's the only reason I'm not going to the tank mentality right now, is because can these guys figure it out and dig deep enough to turn this ship around and squeak into the playoffs if they get healthy?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be the next man up approach. You look around the league, you look at the Atlantic. I mean, Tampa is really banged up right now. Florida's missing their 2 best players. The Ottawa Senators lost their captain within the first 2 weeks of the season, said, you know what, we're weathering this storm. Travis Green has done a great job. And the thing that's surprised me the most, but he's everything.
They're down their captain. We're down their captain. We're down Matthew Nyes. We're down Scott Lawton the whole time. We're down Chris Tanev. We're down Anthony Stolars. We're down Joseph Woll. We're down fucking everybody. Not one guy. They're down one guy. They're down Brady Tkachuk. Yeah, he's the engine of their team.
Okay, so Florida's down Kulikov. They're down Tkachuk. They're down Barkov. They're down 4 or 5 guys, and they're still winning. They won They killed Nashville last night. I can't use injuries as an excuse. I just can't.
And it is next man up, but we don't have the next man that the Florida Panthers do. Not even close. And the guys that we have that are supposed to be are timid little mice out there. They don't show up. Those teams show up and get dirty and get gritty and say, we won't lose. We're coming together, and they're looking at each other in the eyes going, now we fucking go. And these guys look around, fucking do nothing. They're timid little mice, and they apply themselves to 0 degree when they need to step up and give a Herculean effort, and it's 0. It is crickets.
I think the cool thing, too, about, like, great teams is, like, regardless of who the guy is, where he comes from, Florida's a prime example. I mean, they're the benchmark right now in the league. Like, a guy comes from the American Hockey League and he knows what he has to bring to the table. Like, AJ Greer is a perfect example. I still recall last year, I think it was game 1 and 2 against the Leafs. He was a healthy scratch. He hasn't been a scratch since, all right? Since, because he figured out his role. He knows how to play. And again, watching this Leafs team, it just looks like a bunch of guys out there. Like, it doesn't look like The third line doesn't have a profound identity. Get the puck behind the net, cycle it. That's what Dakota Joshua's good at. That's what Nick Waugh's good at. I think you look at some of the upper echelon teams, like watch Colorado play on a nightly basis. Seems like every guy on that roster knows what they need to do to contribute to a victory. And that's the biggest thing for me. And maybe it's a coaching thing. I don't know. But nobody seems to know what their role is, what their purpose is, what their plan is out there.
Yeah, that's definitely how they're playing. And
Yeah.
I have been coached by Craig Berube. I know what his message is, and it was quite similar to the one he brought to the table here when he got hired by the Maple Leafs. It's not difficult. They're not buying into it. They're not doing it. They refuse. It's too hard. You have to work. You have to get in there. You have to, recognize a play that is a certain way that requires you to maintain possession, get the blue line, get the offensive zone, get in and take away time and space. And they're just not really willing to do that. And if they are, it's one guy all by himself doing it with no support. They are disconnected as much as I've ever seen a team be disconnected. There's nobody on the same page. And unless they have just quit on Craig Berube and say, F you, we're not doing anything you say until you're gone. And I don't really feel like I have no reason to believe that that's what they've done aside from their play. Like they're not throwing shade in the media. They're not battling on the bench with him and rolling their eyes. I don't see that. And I don't see why you would. He's a good guy that is honest and straightforward and only asks for just simply your best and your commitment. And it's just very black and white. He's not Babcock throwing shade, playing mind games, turning teammates against you, embarrassing you, calling you out. He's not doing all that shit. He doesn't do that. He's very simplistic in his approach. This is what I want. And for whatever reason, I think it's character. These guys just, I'm not doing that. That's kind of too hard that's uncomfortable for me. I'm not willing to do that. And by the way, my leg's kind of bugging me. I don't think I'm going to play tomorrow. Like, fuck off. I don't buy it. You bring in another coach to say what? To make some what magical system, like Mike Johnson said yesterday on the show. It's not like there's crazy systems that they just can't buy into. It's simple stuff. It's just a commitment to all doing a certain thing together. It's not like some coach is going to come in and reinvent the wheel. They've had multiple coaches with this group, and it hasn't led to good enough. This is the worst it's been, I agree. And the only thing they can do, because of no trade clauses and everything, is fire the coach if it continues to go in this direction. But I'm just telling you, with the group that I see on the ice and what they bring to the table during a game, especially when you need a response and their back is against the wall, doesn't matter who's standing on the freaking bench behind you. They're not willing to do anything that would lead to success this year. It's gross.
Nothing. It really is. A level of entitlement, it feels like. Commitment is the big word I grasp from what you just had to say, and you're so right. There's just not commitment from everybody in that lineup. Again, I thought it's crazy that Dakota Mermis, who's not even going to be on this team in like a week, is the one scrapping when you're getting beat down by a rival team on a Saturday night. Like it's ugly stuff. But as mentioned, we caught up with Keaton Verhoeff yesterday, projected lottery pick. What were some of your takeaways from that interview, Rosie?
Yeah, I like talking to these kids, and they've all got the right media training. And, especially as a high pick with media these days, you have been taught, say the right things and this opportunity and team first and all that. And he's got all that, but you go through the layers of that and you kind of try to get a sense of, is this kid got his head on his shoulders? Does he get it? Is what kind of cloth is he cut from? You can kind of get a sense of who raised him and, just personality and character again, and he seems to have a lot of it. Matthew and I stood out to us right away when we interviewed him in college, and I'm like, God damn, that kid's gonna have a lot of success. And here we are with where he's at, and he's had a ton of success, and I think he is as well, which is probably not a big revelation for a kid who's already been looked at thoroughly and is projected to be one of the top 3 picks in the National Hockey League draft. He's got all the right stuff, but it's a good interview. He's got a lot of good stuff, personality, confidence, leadership qualities. I'm sure he's gonna be a guy to watch for a long time. It was good to interview him.
So Keaton Verhoeff's coming up in about 15 minutes at the Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. This segment is brought to you by Table Fare and Social, your go-to pregame and postgame spot, located right across the street from the arena and just steps from Union Station and the Metrolinx bus terminal. Table Fare and Social has you covered with a wide selection of food, cold drinks, and great vibes. Whether you're rolling with the crew, grabbing a bite with the family, or meeting up for after-work drinks, Table Fare and Social has a table ready for you. Grab a pregame burger at Table Fare and Social right across from the arena. So I was all giddy. I was all excited. And it's been more difficult to get up for these Leafs games, being a fan and watching this team in general. And I'm like, wow, like it really feels like Matthews and Nyes and Nick Waugh are going to return potentially here against Columbus. And then practice starts today. I believe they had a gala last night. And these guys are in the gray jerseys, which means they're not even taking line rushes. And it's like, how do you go backwards? Like these, like in Matthews has been skating for a week. And, you know, I understand with Nye's lower body injury, it's something that's been ailing him for a while. I get that, you know, he's been out less, but it feels like these guys are going backwards. Like if you remember on Matthews' front, they're like a week. He's just going to miss a couple games. We're looking at like 2+ weeks now.
Yeah, like I said, there's not a single guy who has been ahead of schedule or surprised us by coming into the lineup quicker than maybe expected. And, you know, we're used to that in this market, saying, hey, take your time. The regular season means nothing. Make sure you're healthy by playoffs. I get that. But your season is going down the toilet and everything is on the table, from tanking, which I can't even believe that word is as widespread as it is in this market. And coaches are being threatened to fire. General managers are on the hot seat. Everyone's melting down. This team looks like a disaster right now, and nobody is rushing to get back in the lineup. And I'm not saying you should. I don't think it helps anyone by coming back too early and re-aggravating something or getting injured again, and 3 weeks turns into 5 or 6. I get that. But it's just kind of par for the course that these guys are just taking exponentially longer than anyone thought or anticipated or was reported to start off with. And here we go again, thinking we might have some of these super important pieces of the roster back, but no, they're just going to kind of go for a little morning wheel, and that'll be it for them. And they'll take some more days to heal, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we haven't heard from Craig Berube today, but usually, I mean, the media is all over it when guys are wearing gray jerseys, especially the day before the game. It's unlikely, but I mean, as we talked about, you never know with injuries in Toronto. These guys could easily show up in Columbus wearing regular jerseys, and they're the type of players where you just insert them when they're ready to go. But it is mildly concerning. Like, it's so cliche. Every game's big now, man. They've put themselves in a bit of a hole. Columbus owns this team. I hate playing Columbus, especially on Wednesdays. It happened a month ago. They clobbered them. It's really been a house of horrors. It's been a team of horrors for the Leafs. And you would think guys want to be up for that game and try to right some wrongs. And if they go with the same lineup that we saw over the weekend, they are going to be in tough. I did see Matthew Olivier got banged up last night. He's had a great year. Zach Werenski got banged up last night. They got throttled. I hate playing teams when they get smoked. You know, yeah, exactly. I hate playing teams that got smoked the game before. Like we talked about, Montreal lost 8-4. They were horny out of the gates on Saturday, clearly. But yeah, they need to find a way. I mean, there's no sugarcoating this thing. They got 5 in a row now here on the road.
Yeah, most teams come out with a real response and a level of intensity when you get smoked or called out. And I can't say I've seen it with this one. Is there 6 opportunities more, I'm sure, where you're like, okay, they are not going to stand for this. They are going to come out. They are going to buy in. They're going to be to a man so jacked up when that puck drops. They're going to overwhelm the other team, and they're just pussycats that just completely get throttled by the other team when they're supposed to have this response, and no one can figure out why. It's tough to watch, man. I have, this is our 4th season doing this, and I can't think of it. I'm usually pretty excited, like in the morning. Game tonight. I like watching the games. I like tweeting during them. I like our group chat during them. All of it. And now I'm just like, ugh. And like I said the other day, I flip the channel. I don't really watch the other games when the Leafs are on. I just stick to that game for the start to finish. And flipping channels now just to like rather watch this. And I hope that changes. And I am far past like trying to find positives. Like, what are the positives of this season? What is some shining things? Joseph Wall has had 2 pretty good, decent games, even though he got hooked in one of them. Okay, that's kind of a thing. Nick Robertson has had some flashes where he's working hard and getting rewarded for it, and that is it.
JT,
Like, isn't that? Yeah, he's sick, and I mean, he's thank God for him, or this would be. I don't know how it can get any worse. It's just so hard to find positives or to say this is why I believe and this is what's going to get them in the right direction. Again, compounded by injuries. Yes, I agree. But they have been healthy and they didn't look very good. And because of that, they were jumbling their lines like crazy. And nobody has had, like you say, what's the third line's identity? Well, what's the third line? I don't know who's on the third line. I can't name 3 guys that I think are for sure on the third line. It's been everybody on the roster aside from like 3 dudes. So, and that's not to knock Berube, like nothing's going right. You've got to try to find the chemistry. And they went through the beginning of the season with new guys and you're trying to figure out who they are, what they do, and where they fit. So it kind of makes sense. It's the only real bullet that the coach has is to, mix lineups and try to find chemistry. But like, there's a reason they've jumbled them up so bad. They have nothing's clicking. So yeah, I don't know what to expect, but my expectations obviously this morning are quite low.
and they should be. And we are going to tune in, but you're right. It feels like more of a chore watching Leafs games. I used to get so excited. I'm like, shit, is Matthews going to snipe tonight? How much are they going to win? It just doesn't have that feel. They're just like a dark cloud again around this team right now. It really feels like the pre-Matthews era, man. Like that was a difficult time to be a Maple Leafs fan. And I think what hurts the most is you get the sense the window has closed completely. Like it's not even slightly open in terms of potentially winning a Stanley Cup, where you were viewed as an upper echelon team, a team that had a shot every year, and it's now like crap. Are they gonna scratch and claw to be on the bubble to make the playoffs? It's been really, really ugly. We got our first super chat of the show today, Rosie, and our first Austin Matthews trade proposal. Mike Rushton, thank you so much for the super chat. This reeks of culture problems, he says, led by Captain Milli Vanilli himself. AM 34 in exchange for Fantilli, Olivier, and a first and second McDavid in 2 years. I could tell you right now, Austin Matthews will not be waiving to go to Columbus. With due respect to their organization, that great city, he is not going to waive to go to Columbus.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going. Or did that guy mean? Does he mean come to Toronto when his time's done in Edmonton? Is that
well,
what
he
was
said
meaning
McDavid in 2 years, yes, but it was more, I think, the basis of what he was saying was the 34 trade request, trade proposal. Fantilli, Olivier, a first and a second for Austin Matthews is his proposal.
Yeah, interesting, man. It would be, I mean, like for what the future looks for this team, if something like that doesn't happen, I don't see it. Like Matthews has been kind of soured on a lot of people, I think.
Yeah.
He just doesn't, even when he is scoring like that 69 goal pace and he's just this prominent goal scorer, the other sides of his game, and again, it's not the X's and O's and that he doesn't play any defense or any of that necessarily. It's just like the drive and the heart and the desire and the intensity and like what you see out of teams that win the cup. Everyone's like, we got to see that. It's been a decade. He doesn't have that. It's not part of his DNA. He's a nice dude. Lots of guys like him, but I haven't seen that. This guy's going to put this organization on his back and get them over a game 6 or 7. He's never done it. And I don't see it. And I unfortunately, like if there was no such thing as a no trade clause, I would be like, time to pull some triggers,
It's time.
man. Time to mix this thing up in a big way, but you can't really. And
No.
I don't know where those players' heads are at as far as willingness to leave that team. It's hard to play in that market. Maybe they like it, maybe they don't. I don't know. Like it's a big transition for a guy like that that's firmly cemented in a city to make a big move like that. And it's a huge risk to go to a player of his stature and say, we'd like to move you. Are you interested in and waiving your no trade clause, that can go south in a really big hurry for everybody. So yeah, I'm all about shaking this core up. I really am at this point in time, because we've gotten weaker in so many aspects. We got such good goaltending last year that I think we maybe took it for granted, and it's tough to stay at that level. Our D core looks like a shell of themselves, and they're not getting any younger. Like, good God. It's tough, but I would be open for something like he just proposed if it was at all possible. Yep.
At the very least, we did learn last year that management is not afraid to go to certain players and be like, we are open to this. I mean, the whole Mitch Marner thing, they went to him. I mean, he didn't like it, but they went to him. So that sort of gives you some hope. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's time to have serious conversations about changing the look of the identity, the nucleus, whatever you want to call it, of this team. And it's certainly soul-searching time in this market. Alex writes in, Rosie, being a former player, is it not easier to find and have chemistry playing with the same line, not a shuffled deck every game? How do you view that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, obviously you want to see something click off the bat and then say, there it is. That's the combination that we like. And then you keep with it and you roll with it. But when you don't get any semblance of chemistry off the bat, it's pretty easy, and you're losing and it's gross looking, and it's pretty easy to be like, let's try this and let's try that. And now at this point in time, have they tried everything? Maybe it's hard with injuries, right? You're shuffling guys around. You're putting them in positions they don't really belong. You can't put guys in the press box because you don't have anyone else to play. So you got to like maybe demote them and play them on a line that on the bottom six when they're a top six player. And then now you're definitely not following the system and following, the game plan. So it is tough, but yeah, I get what he's saying. Like, there is something to be said for, can we get some consistency here so we can figure each other out? What is that combination? I don't know. And obviously they don't know, because they haven't shown anything good enough to say, I like these guys together.
At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Ben Austin, thank you so much for the super chat. Do you guys think a move is made if Leafs lose Wednesday? No. No, I don't. It's Thanksgiving on Thursday in the States, so they'll probably go for dinner after the game, have some drinks, enjoy Thursday, enjoy football on Thursday. There's no NHL hockey on Thursday, and they're in Washington on Friday at 5 Eastern time. So no.
Yeah, Tree said there's not someone here that's going to come in and save the day and bail these guys out and come in and change the culture by Friday. Like, it's not, I'm not holding my breath. I don't know what the future holds. It's probably the biggest question mark for anybody. I don't know if Tree Living has any idea what he's going to do or where he's at. Again, I think the one thing is you got to wait to see if these guys are healthy and try to chip away as many points as you can until that time, whenever the hell that even is. And then see if you can get this team to come together and play good hockey. And then after that, at that point in time, we're looking at Christmas. And after Christmas in the new year, I think anything is possible. And it'll depend on what these guys do. Are they going to shut it down? Are they going to dig deep? Are they going to turn on their coach? Is the locker room going to be divided? Is it just going to be this disgusting mess that they're headed towards? I don't know. I hope not. It's not fun being any part of this team, whether it's just a fan or you cover them or whatever the situation is. It's not fun. And I know it's not fun being on that team when you're losing, but usually you see the understanding from the players that they're not having fun and they're pissed off and they will do anything to turn this around. And I just can't believe how little of tidbits of that we've seen with their play. Like, effort, energy, none of it. It's just like, it's so few and far between when guys out there just like, it's just like, turn your brain off and just work your ass off. Just move as hard as you can. And if anything gets in your way, you hit them and you charge the crease. And if anyone doesn't like it, fuck you, pushing and shoving, none of it. It's just not there. It's like they don't care, which doesn't make sense, because I know professional hockey players care. They have a lot riding on it. And that just leads to more of the frustration that's just compounding within the organization right now.
You won't believe this. New lines at practice today.
What do they look like?
Dude, they have no answers, okay? Let's call a spade a spade. There are 0 answers remaining with this team and this org, but Cowan, Tavares, Nylander, Robertson, Domi, Yarncroke. That's going to last about 6 minutes. I'm telling you right now. That line, like Yarncroke is such a fascinating case. He's like he can go from like the press box to the first line to the second line, all in the span of about 8 minutes. Like it's crazy. Joshua Quillen, Michelli. So Quillen looks like he's going to be back in. Lawrence Lawton, McMahon, and again, Nyes, Waugh, Matthews in gray jerseys. We haven't heard from Craig Berube yet following practice. We don't have definitive confirmation, but unlikely those guys are going to play tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, more of the same, just a jumbled mess of next up, but no one seems to want to be the next guy up. Whatever, man. I don't, again, cool. Same bodies mixed up in a different combination. See if they have anything. Again, their record against Columbus on a weekday in Columbus, their road record, their response to embarrassing loss, none of it is positive. So I don't know. What do you have left to say? Like, just give me something to talk about. Give me something to hitch my wagon to. Like, I'm willing, but as far as you want to dig, you can't find anything to give you some hope at this point in time. It's just is it rock bottom? I don't know. I could see it going deeper the other way, where they're getting humiliated and absolutely ripped in the media, and then all the questions, and then the coach gets fired, and more guys are hurt longer. I mean, it could go more south, believe it or not. But it is shocking how low they are right now with their play. They're consistently terrible play.
Producer Vic makes a great point in our group chat. Versatility is the name of the game when it comes to Calle Yarncroke. He can play every position. Anyways, let's get to the interview. Zach Phillips has been calling for Keaton Verhoeff to be a Maple Leaf, I think, since Game 7 of the season. And we aim to please here, at least Morning Take. So what I did, I tracked this fucking kid down, and I'm like, you're going to come on the podcast. We're going to talk some Leafs. We're going to talk about you being an absolute stallion of an individual, and maybe one day you're a Maple Leaf. So without further ado, projected lottery pick, here's Keaton Verhoeff. Keaton, thank you so much for doing this. Obviously, one of those guys who made that transition from the Dub to the NCAA. How are things going over there in North Dakota?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me on today. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's kind of it's an amazing place here in North Dakota. Grand Forks is quite the little city. We're super supported here, so it's an amazing transition so far.
Yeah, that program is nothing short of unbelievable. That's for sure. Take us through your process. It's a new thing. You guys are kind of trailblazers going, from major, junior to the NCAA, and having guys that are as highly touted as yourself, having to make that decision and being able to make that decision. What was that all about, making the jump from the Dub to the NCAA, and how'd you come to the conclusion to go to North Dakota?
Yeah, for sure. It's an unbelievable opportunity that we're presented with now. But it is tough, obviously. Coming from Victoria last year is an amazing place, amazing organization. Nothing but love for them. But coming to North Dakota was kind of was a unique opportunity that was presented to me at the end of the year last year, with the rule being passed kind of halfway through around Christmas, I'd say. Last year, it was kind of in the back of everybody's minds a little bit, I'd say, but I didn't really start looking into it till after the season was over. Just kind of focused on my playoffs, focused on stuff like that. But then once the season was over, I kind of started looking into it. Talked to North Dakota, went on visits to North Dakota and Michigan. Both unbelievable programs, unbelievable staffs. And then at the end of the day, it was kind of North Dakota felt like the place for me with the staff here. And the Ralph obviously has an amazing facility. It's quite the place we get to play here.
Random question. Did you talk to Jonathan Taves right away when we said Grand Forks? I thought of Taves like right away.
Yeah, no, I didn't get the chance to talk to Jonathan Taves. I mean, there's been some, like, not so much communication, but I think he's talked to their coaches and stuff like that. The unique one that really got to me was I got Sanderson. I got a Sanderson text. So that was pretty cool. He kind of reached out to me right when I started talking to them. And then once I committed as well, he sent another one. Congrats on the commitment. It's an unbelievable place. So that was kind of a text I got a little starstruck on. Obviously, there's a high pick in the last couple of years, and it's doing unbelievable in the NHL right now. So that was a pretty cool one.
For sure. And just to stay on topic, like you're one of the few people that have both perspectives of playing NCAA and playing, major junior. And before that, no one was able to do that. You had to pick one or the other. What are some of the differences, positive and negative, from the two leagues?
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's just completely different. There's kind of different lifestyles in each, obviously. With me last year, I was obviously doing school, just still being in high school and finishing up high school and doing school and playing games as well. But then when you come here, it's you're also having that school part to add on to your hockey. We have a great support group here that really supports like the players. Like we have unbelievable help here. If we need help in a class, we're going to get it right like pretty quickly. So that's really helpful. But then like kind of another thing is just that schedule is a big difference. You're obviously not playing for us in Victoria last year, me and Cole last year in Victoria, you'd be on the road playing in Vancouver one night. The next night you're back the next morning you're on the ferry and you're back playing in Victoria the next day. So kind of that little bit different of a schedule. Whereas here we're more whatever those Friday, Saturday games, having the opportunity to hop on planes and fly out to places is pretty sweet as well. And then it's just, I wouldn't say there's there's obviously there are positives and negatives. You take them as you want, but it's just kind of what's going to be right for a different player. I mean, for me, I couldn't be happier with my decision. It's something I've been happy to play with this year, and it's obviously both leagues are unbelievable places to play, and you're going to develop either way. It's just whether you want to put the work in there.
So Rosie played in the States, and I had a couple of buddies who played in the States. I've never actually been to a college hockey game. Can you just describe the atmosphere of playing in the NCAA, man? I heard it's insane.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. You got to get to one. They're special. Like you go to different places, whether like the student sections are always like buzzing, the student sections going. And then you have their fans too. Like I know here, like we have probably, maybe it's biased opinion here, but I'd say we have the best fan base in the NCAA. Like our rink's packed every night. Our rink holds like just over 11,000. And I think I just saw something. We had an average attendance of like 11,107 or something like that this year. So we're playing in front of packed barns every night. Like our student section's rowdy, lively. It's unbelievable to kind of see. I don't know, it would be tough to, as a freshman, I think it'd be tough to come into our building and have that first experience playing against our fans and us. But I know when you go to other places as well, it's just a unique experience you don't really get anywhere else, because you're kind of you're all like your peers. You're not really going to get this type of support. You get the fan bases and every other organizations as well, but the people that are cheering for your peers, like you're sitting next to them in class, they have that little bit more of a relationship with you. It kind of builds that fan base a little stronger. I mean, there's diehards that are at every single game, sitting in the front row every game. I mean, we have 8 or 9 tents like sitting outside of our rink in the morning when we get there for morning skate, just waiting to have their spots so they can rush down to get the front row of the student section. It's incredible.
It is awesome. The last college game I ever played was at the Ralph. Actually, we got beat out of playoffs. I was at UMD in Duluth, and it's an experience, no doubt about it. On the actual on ice part of things, what did you notice different? Is there a difference in speed or transition? Are you noticing playing against older players and more developed, stronger men, or are they pretty comparable?
Yeah, obviously they're going to be a little stronger and faster. But I think that comes with a little bit of you adapt to that. For me, the biggest difference, honestly, was just the maturity and like their play styles, whether it's the chip and pucks and deep. But the most noticeable thing for me was just like sticks and defensive positioning, like going back for a puck or something like that. I make a move and go up the wall. Maybe that's going to work before you go up the move, make a wall. Now you got to maybe add a slip play in there or something like that. Just kind of the technical skills of defending, like their stick positioning and body positioning as well, is something that I had to adapt to and kind of feel the game out for the first couple of games.
Tell us about your game. What can we expect? I know you got some snarl. I'm not shocked at all. You're from Alberta.
No, it's big two-way defenseman. I like defending. I take pride in my defensive zone. Hard on guys in the D zone, and then getting up the ice, I'm kind of able to transition the puck pretty quickly, I think, and then using my size and my shot in the offensive zone to create me time and space and create some passing lanes and be able to wire the puck. So that's kind of my game, and I kind of pride myself in taking care of the D zone, and then obviously jumping up in the rush and trying to create is just an added bonus.
Now, obviously, you're focused on your season and your team and your game and everything. But do you ever find yourself peeking around the standings, the draft rankings, and thinking about this coming June and what might change in your life at that point in time?
Yeah, obviously you don't want to look too much into it, but it's always gonna be in the back of my head. It's kind of something I've looked forward to for my entire life. I've been dreaming of this moment for a long time, so it's pretty awesome to have this year finally come. Just trying to enjoy it and kind of go enjoy all the process, going through all of it. But then obviously, yeah, looking at everything else, like looking at peers as well, like playing with lots of those guys that, I mean, the Western Canada has a strong class this year. I'd say, like, playing with lots of those guys at Halinka, Canada events, and playing with all those Canadians is pretty cool to watch them as well. I mean, I've had lots of fun watching these guys go in the Western and the OHL as well, and the Q as well. But it's going to be a fun time with the prospect game coming up, being able to watch those guys as well. So it's just fun to watch, like, peers and teammates go through the process as well and see their success.
Keaton, I won't lie. Our coworker Zach Phillips is one loss away for the Maple Leafs from buying one of your jerseys in a Maple Leaf uniform. Like, we're that close here in Leafs Nation. But how do you stay grounded through all this? Like, jokes aside, I know there's a lot of pressure on you. It's a big season for you in your life, and even just talking to you, I've been blown away with just your composure in this interview. You're bringing it, my man. But, like, how do you stay grounded through all this? And are you aware of some of the hashtags out there? They're pretty interesting.
Yeah. I think it kind of just comes with, honestly, North Dakota has helped me with that a lot. We're kind of a tradition-based program here. One of the big quotes is, no one's bigger than the program. So just having my teammates beside me and kind of to be in the trenches with them, putting the work in day out has been super helpful. And then also just my family as well. They're super supportive. I mean, they're my biggest fans. So having them kind of behind me has been super helpful to have them to talk to. And on those hashtags, I think I've seen a couple of them fly through my text messages with my stepdad. He's got a couple of them on I'm pretty sure his feed is pretty Keaton Verhoeff heavy right now. So he's had a couple of those fly through his Twitter and X and whatever, all that stuff.
Hard to avoid, I'm sure. Growing up as a Fort Sask kid, safe to say you were an Oilers fan, and yes or no? And also, who was your favorite player growing up? Who'd you idolize?
Yeah, so I kind of transitioned to an Oilers fan in the later years of my life, probably when I was around 12 or 13. But before that, I played goalie till I was 11. So I was a huge Carey Price fan. I loved watching Carey Price play. I had pictures of him up in my room, and all that stuff. But then, kind of when I switched watching the Oilers, I was obviously right around the McDavid era. I had a couple of years without him there, and then just watching him play was pretty special. I mean, in Edmonton, it's been pretty exciting the past couple of years, having those stars in Edmonton to kind of lead them through the playoffs and this charge. I mean, Edmonton's kind of had the city has had a different buzz around it for the past little bit. But then going around outside of the Oilers, I kind of think I loved watching like Heiskanen and Hedman and things like, and those guys and Thomas Harley as well recently. He's kind of stepped up to be those bigger defensemen that can really move, defend, and also create offensive.
Leafs fans love physical, competitive players. Where does that competitive edge come for you?
Yeah, I think being a younger sibling, honestly, I have an older sister, and everything was a competition. I've always kind of had that fire, that compassion kind of in me. I think growing up, it was whether it was seeing who was faster up to get into our rooms to go to bed, or see who could, I don't know, brush their teeth better. Everything was a competition for us. that kind of created it in me. And then just the want to always win. I mean, I love to win. And we were talking about something today, honestly, where we were talking about some Kobe thing where he said, "With you love to win or you hate to lose," and we think those things go hand in hand. Both those things feed into that passion and fire to create the competitive edge that I have. I know I'm never going to think we're out of a game. Here, we're never going to think we're out of a game. We always got a little more to give and always a little more to push. So I think having that mindset is important for my competitive edge. And then obviously just wanting to win, wanting to be the best that we can be.
Now, speaking of the draft, obviously you're highly touted and, you don't have any control over where you're going to go, but do you ever think about, what type of a market you want to go to? Do you want to go to a big market, a smaller market, somewhere warm, somewhere in the States, Canada? Have you thought of that? And do you have any preference at all?
No, I don't think so. I think playing in the NHL is something pretty special. So I think any place that is going to take the chance on me and take the belief in me, I'll be super excited to go there and put the work in and have that opportunity to show and prove to them that I'm able to play at that level, and not only play there but also make a difference and help a team eventually win a Stanley Cup.
Effectively, we're prepping you for your interviews with teams coming up. Like, that was the perfect answer. You want to play anywhere. Like, you'll play on Pluto if you need to play in the National League. But wanted to ask you about the World Juniors. And obviously, this country is starving for a gold medal. And I'll just put this out there. If Keaton's not on the team, we got some major issues. But do you have, like, a favorite World Junior memory? Obviously, it's in Minnesota this season. What would that mean to you to wear the red and white?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get a chance to wear the leaf on your chest is something special. And obviously with what's kind of happened the past 2 years at the World Juniors, I think with Hockey Canada, they've taken lots of steps, and they aren't happy with the finishes the past 2 years. And I think any chance, if I get the opportunity to go and play for that team, I'll be super pumped. Just the opportunity to go and win a gold, prove to our country that, and prove to the others that we're still Canada. We're still what hockey is made of. We are the hockey country. I think that'll be something that I'm looking forward to maybe having the chance to do this year. And then obviously with it being in Minnesota, it's a pretty special place. Obviously being close to Grand Forks and North Dakota here will be a pretty unique opportunity. And to be able to hopefully have an opportunity to go over to Minnesota and win it in US's home turf will be another cool thing to kind of put a little end to their run here.
You seem like a really grounded dude, man, and I know you played last year at the 17U, the 18U. How much do you think that experience will help you in the long run, not just in college hockey? You played against older players. You know a lot of guys who have been drafted already. How much do you think all that will help?
Yeah, it's going to be huge. I mean, one of my biggest kind of learning experiences for me was a couple of years back now, but I went and played in the Youth Olympics. We were in South Korea. So that was, it only happens once every 4 years. It's just like your regular Olympics, just for obviously the youth. But we went there, had all this time. We were in Victoria actually, practicing, had about a week there, a little training camp, took the long flight over to South Korea, played in the tournament, played well through round robin. And then when it came to the important moments, we just couldn't finish. And that was kind of something that, I took and I really learned from. And then obviously going to U17s and be able to win that whole thing was another super cool experience, because I kind of learned the difference between what it takes to win there, and what it does, and what, like, you're not going to be able to win without everything going your way. I know if everybody doesn't buy in, you're not going to really have that chance to win. I think it's the difference between winning and losing is pretty small, but at the high level at Worlds, and even in the NCAA as well, everybody's so good. Everybody's so skilled and physical as well. You're gonna have to have everybody find their role and everyone really buy into what you want to do to inevitably win that championship.
Let's have some fun to wrap. I'll play the role of Brad Treliving. Why should I draft you, Keaton?
I think it's kind of just. I think for me, I'm someone that wants to win. Obviously, you want to win as well. I'm going to be in the rink every day. I'm going to be there putting in the work to make that happen. I also I pride myself as well on my leadership ability, being able to help in a room and show by example, and also lead by a vocal voice as well. But I think for me, I'm going to be in the rink. I'm going to be in the rink every day, for sunrise, sunset, putting in the work to make sure that when season comes and when the important times come around, I'm going to be able to produce. Obviously, when the important times in the year are the most fun times of the year, and that's kind of when you want to be playing your best hockey. So making sure that I'm able to handle the pressure, which I think I've shown in my short career here, my young little career, is being able to handle the pressure and play in the big moments and produce in the big moments as well.
I'm sold. Drafted. You're a leaf. You're a leaf. I love it, man. Like, great stuff today. I know it's a busy time for you. I know you got a lot going. The World Juniors just around the corner. The college season, it's a busy time. So we can't thank you enough. Really, really appreciate this. And let's keep in touch, okay?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much for the time today.
What an absolute stud. There is Keaton Verhoeff making Zach Phillips one very happy man. But I was very blown away with that interview. Very well-spoken young man.
Yeah, nice kid. Whoever ends up picking him up, I'm sure he will do great things for. You can kind of tell. I like those interviews from kids before they get into the big league, and you can kind of make your predictions based on their personality, and I think he's got a good one, that one.
An Alberta boy at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Should note as well, Austin Matthews led the stretch after practice today. I don't know if that means anything. We'll hear from Craig Berube probably when we're off the air, but obviously we'll break it down tomorrow when they visit Columbus, right?
Oh, it means he's a leader, man. That's what that means. Jumps in there and leads the stretch, baby. That's big stuff. Big news in T-Dot, man. Good stuff. Happy, exciting, positive.
It's time now for the last call, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in the game. Use code NATION. That's NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit ConnexOntario.ca. There's one game in the NHL tonight. Dallas, Edmonton. I will take a Zach Hyman anytime goal. He hasn't scored since making his season debut. He's picked up a couple points, but I like Hyman to score tonight against Dallas.
Ooh, I hope there's some value on that. I'm going to take the over at even money, and I have got a Leonidas Draisaitl anytime goal.
All right, Rosie, that's going to do it for another edition of Leafs Morning Take. And tomorrow we preview the big game in Columbus. And I laugh because I have no clue which team's going to show up, who's going to show up, who's going to play, who's not. So we'll find out tomorrow, I guess.
I hope they shove it up our rear end. That would be a step in the right direction. Prove everyone wrong. Maybe they can get that mentality going inside of that locker room. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yes, and we're so bored here at Leafs Nation. We're going to talk baseball tomorrow. Max Scherzer is going to drop by the podcast. We're going to catch up with him in about an hour, talk about Game 7, talk about the World Series, talk about being an absolute stud. You want to talk about killer instinct. Is there anybody better at that in pro sports right now than Max Scherzer at his age? So we're going to catch up with Max Scherzer. I'm looking forward to this one, man.
Maniac. I love it. Good. That'll be a welcome distraction at this point in time. Go back to some good sporting events, even though it ended in quite a bit of heartache. It was a hell of a run for those guys. Be fun to pick his brain, as he is a Hall of Fame legendary stud. No two ways about it.
Craig Berube, as practice concludes today, says to his team, the glass is half full, not half empty. Don't forget that, Rosie, to get set for tomorrow's edition of Leafs Morning Take, okay? Don't forget that.
Yeah, the glass is half full, boys. We're rocking and rolling. Lots of good things happening. Love it. Keep it going.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you to Keaton Verhoeff one more time at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take, wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Don't forget as well to visit theleafsnation.com. Coming up tomorrow again, Max Scherzer. Thank you to producer Vic. For Jay Rosehill, I'm Nick Alberga. We'll talk on Wednesday. Take care, everybody. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.